Hey everyone, it's the Four Gun Guy, and today I'm going to do a really kind of a quick review of the new EC tuner brake by Eric Cortina. Now I've seen some guys running these things, especially in the 22 matches, but I'm starting to see them in the big gun match. And if you recall, I had put mounted a KSS ATS tuner on my Voodoo 22 long rifle, my competition rifle, and it has worked out really well. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to look at that for my larger caliber rifle here. And I just didn't want to have a muzzle brake with the tuner that I'd have to kind of marry those two together. And as you remember, I have loved my Area 419 Sidewinder muzzle brake. I mean, I've absolutely loved that thing on this rifle. And I actually did a comparison between that and the APA Fat Bastard, and I stuck with the Area 419 Sidewinder. But this time I wanted a tuner and a brake, and the one I found out there was by Eric Cortina. So we're going to look at this, and I shot some groups in comparison with the Sidewinder versus this. We're going to look at that, and we'll just have some final thoughts then. So if you're ready to go, let's get to it. Look, there's video out there of Eric installing this. Look, very easy to install. It's basically three pieces. You're going to screw this on to the end of your barrel. This is the tuner part up here. It's got three set screws in it. But what you're going to do is screw this on. You're going to then rotate this piece, the brake, until it gets close to vertical like it is right now. You want the lettering on the top. And then when you screw this on, this might be kind of off kilter. And you're going to just loosen this nut here, the set nut. And then you're going to tighten this down with a wrench until it becomes level. It's that simple, and then you start tuning. So as I said, I started at 0, but I came around one full turn to 0 again, which would be 10 basically. And this is where I have it tuned. You lock it down and you're done. So that's really basically it on the installation of this thing. Very easy. Well, I did go to the range yesterday. I'll put some of that footage up here somewhere. But I screwed up my sound. So everything I shot in the beginning at the range, there were 2 videos worth of footage that have no sound to them. So I really messed that up. So I apologize for that. What I wanted to go over was first the analysis. So let's go over the numbers. I'll put that up here as well. If you look at the difference between the Area 419 Sidewinder and the EC tuner brake, you'll see with the Sidewinder, I had SD of 6.2 with an ES of 21, average velocity 27, 23, and yes, I do shoot that low of a velocity. With the bullets I use, the projectiles I use, which are the ELDMs from Hornady, the 140 grain, I find that this is about the velocity they like. I may go up a little bit, but this generally has been working for me. So those SDs are not bad. The ESs are not good for me. I don't like ESs greater than 10 or 12, and these both were up in the 17 to 21 range. So I'm going to look at that and see if it's maybe something I'm doing with my loading or something else. But could be a seating depth issue there too. But what I wanted to show you was that actually with the EC tuner brake, I've got about a 20% better numbers with the EC tuner brake. So you see I went from a 6.2 SD to a 4.6, a 21 ES down to a 17 ES. Now again, this is only a 10-shot string on each of these, so I understand that. But with this initial testing, pretty good results there. The other thing I wanted to point out was that I actually did 3 videos yesterday, but 2 of them used the same cardboard. So I want to explain this to you. I did a primer video, which is going to be coming out as reviewing the Federal 205 primers that I was lucky enough to get some against the CCI 450s, which is what I've been using for my loads. So that was over here. But I decided to do a twofold, use these results against the EC tuner results. So I'm going to explain this so you get what my thinking was. This middle section here is the CCI 450 primer. I actually did 2 5-shot strings for the primer results. But what you can see here is I've got some pretty good 2-shot groups here. I've got a good 2-shot group here, which is about 1/8 of an inch. Here's an 1/8 of an inch almost on top of each other. I did have a flyer here. Over here, this grouping was kind of spread out, so not all that great. I'm going to pause here and tell you I was not going for grouping on the primer tests. So that's why I think these are a little larger than they could have been with the Sidewinder. So these were with the Sidewinder. Then I came over and started to tune the ECS. And what you're seeing here is I started up here in the upper left corner, and I'll put shots of this up in the screen. Upper left corner at 0, then I went to, I think I went to 2, then 4, then 6, then 8. Then I did a stupid thing, and I thought, well, 8's way far away, so I'm going to jump up to I think I jumped up to 12 or something like that, and this only goes around once. So then I was at 12, End of the story is when I got down around here, this lower, this was at about 9, this lower one group, and then I was running out of target, so I used the same one. This one was around 11, and the sweet spot was right here. So if you look at this target right here, this is 3 shots, guys, 3 shots. And that's, I don't even know what that is. That's an 1/8 of an inch, right? So, you know, that's pretty good. So that's 0.125 MOA, not bad. I stopped there. I said, that's good with me, and we're going to stop there. I did want to also just point out that I did a comparison a while ago against Barnes 145 grain match burners and A-tips. And with the Sidewinder, the best grouping I received with the A-tip was a 0.35 group. So I just wanted to throw that in there to show that the Sidewinder was giving me pretty good groups. It really was. But I'm impressed with this tuner. Now let's pause here. Let's pause here, and I want to talk about at range. Now, a 0.125 group at 100 yards, fantastic. But the real question we should be asking is, what does this thing do at distance? So I pushed this out to 500 yards, just wanted to start there, and I'm going to put that video up here. So you're going to see me hit at 500 yards, which with the Sidewinder, I was hitting at 500 yards as well, right? No, 500 yards to this rifle or these types of rifles is kind of like a short, medium shot in golf, right? You should be hitting that 500-yard target. So you see the video up here, a couple shots I think it was, and what we're looking for is what? I don't really care about the windage side of things. I care about the vertical side of things. Am I hitting that pretty much dead on centered? And I was, vertically. Then, and I'm going to put this video up here, then I went out to 850 yards. So 850 yards to me with this cartridge, this projectile and everything is kind of at that very lower bound of the transonic range where you really want to validate your dope. And plus I can only spot out to that distance kind of accurately. So I hooked my cell phone camera up to my loophole spotting scope, zoomed in as best I could, tried to get as clear as I could, but it was really a little windy yesterday, and there was a lot of mirage, as you'll see here. So then we went out to 850 yards, and I got these two shots that you're going to see here, and as you can see, these two shots are pretty much center line. So very happy with that. And all I'm saying is it's validating that, yes, out to distance with the dope I have, with everything else I'm using the Kestrel with applied ballistics and a custom curve for this projectile. Everything went out to 850 and I was happy with it. I did go out to 1,000 and I hit fine. I couldn't really see where on the target I was hitting, but it was a hit on a 2 MOA target. So with all that said, I think I'm going to like this. Let's talk about recoil. Recoil between this and the Sidewinder, I didn't see a lot of difference. So I was very happy about that. As I said, I love that Sidewinder. And if you are just looking at getting a muzzle brake, I would recommend the Sidewinder right now over. I would just recommend it, right? There might be others out there. You may have comments on what you use and that it's great, fantastic. But if you're looking for a combination tuner brake, the brake on this thing worked really, really well. I was very impressed with the recoil management of this brake. Well, final thought's going to be pretty quick, right? Really like this EC tuner brake. Easy to install. I actually like the fact that it doesn't come with any instructions. It came with 2 lollipops and it came in a prescription bottle. You can go on to YouTube. He's got his video on how to install it. That's why I didn't show you how to install it. I didn't want to waste your time. I'll link to it, or you can just go there and watch his video. But it's extremely easy to install. The other thing I like about this, and if you saw my Area 419 Sidewinder versus the APA Fat Bastard, unlike the Fat Bastard, this stays on my rifle. I shot a total of about 120 rounds yesterday through this thing. It never came loose. It never loosened up. The tuner didn't loosen up. And if you recall, the APA Fat Bastard came loose all the time on me on this rifle. Sidewinder, very simple to install. I would say this is as simple as that is. The one thing that you do need with this is a tool. You are going to need a wrench, but I carry a crescent wrench with me in my bag anyway, so that doesn't bother me at all. Accuracy-wise, we saw that. It was very accurate, even out to the 850 that you saw in the video, but I actually shot out to 1,000 after that, no problem. And then, as I said, I did some practice for next weekend's match. So I was going anywhere from 425 yards out to 700 yards for that, plus that 1,000 I just mentioned. No problem. I didn't feel that the recoil was a problem. The recoil management here is great. It was coming right back into my shoulder the way I like it. So yeah, I'm good. EC tuner brake is good for me. And if you're looking at something like this, I would recommend that you put this on your list to consider. Well, thanks everybody. And I've got some other stuff coming up. I've got a powder comparison coming up between N555 and H4350. I've got a primer comparison coming up between Federal 205s and CCI 450s, which is what I use now, but I was able to get some of those Federal 205s. And then I've got some other stuff. So thanks again for watching, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, and until next time, shoot straight.